That quote, which is so good, you don't know where you're going whenever you start. How would you relate that to these final 2 seasons of running? How would you relate that quote to your own current pursuits within the sport of running?
Yeah, I like I said, I don't really know what this season entails. And because I don't know what this season entails, I am just showing up every day and trying to have as much fun as I can with it, understanding that these are my last two indoor and outdoor track seasons ever, pretty much. I mean, I might run on the track again unattached sometime in the future, but understanding that these are my last two chances. And with that in mind, it's like I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know what the times are going to be, but through this whole process, I want to have my priorities straight to the point where I'm like, okay, I just want to enjoy the sport and push myself to the furthest limit that I possibly can. And with that, whatever the results are, will that just is going to be a result of what happens for me loving the sport and pushing myself to my physical limits. So,
Do you ever reflect on how, no hate at all, but I think you'll agree with me, like, you're not gonna be the next Jakob Ingebrigtsen or Josh Kerr, but yet
yeah.
you have such a population of people who deeply care about your running results to an extent that they probably never have about a D3 guy. How often
Yeah.
do you think about how much of a beautiful community you've formulated in terms of like, wow, people like tangibly care about how I do the workouts, if I'm healthy or not, and what I do on the track these next 2 seasons will actually have tangible impact on people's lives.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm a D2 guy, not a D3 guy.
You're
So
so right. You're so right.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Cut. Just
Cut.
kidding.
Yeah, we got to cut
Just
this out.
kidding. No, I make
No,
mistakes, everyone. It happens. Good to
no,
be
I think
raw.
it's very interesting because it's not like I'm not like the fastest in D2. I'm not the fastest in D3. I'm not the fastest in D1. I'm not the fastest in the NCAA by any means. I am a little bit above average, and I think because of that, people are like looking at the times and they're like, okay, this is he's not like the fastest, but he's like showing up and trying to push himself. And because of that, it's been able to create a community of people who are like, wait, I want to kind of like adopt that same mentality because most people that are in the NCAA are never going to be at the top of the NCAA. Like they're never going to be one of those top guys. They're never going to go on to the professional level and run in Diamond League races and stuff like this. So whenever I can just show up and I can be like, here's where I am, here's where I'm trying to go. Like I don't know what the end result's going to be. I think it inspires people because they realize, wait a second, this isn't so much about the results in the end as it is about making sure that you have the right priorities and like where you're trying to go. And I just said the word priorities like really weird, but making sure you have the right priorities and where you're trying to go. And so often, like I get messages from people every now and then, and they're like, "Hey, like how can I impress college coaches, or how can I impress like my friends or my current high school coach?" I'm like, dude, you have to focus on enjoying the sport and doing it from a place of love before you can try to like the results that impress people come from athletes who do it from a place of love for the sport. And they do it because they love pushing themselves to the physical limits and they love the sport of running. And because they have the right like intentions behind what they're doing in that regard, what ends up happening is those results in the end are just that just happens naturally as a result. It's not necessarily it's like their motives are right. So what happens as a result naturally is that they run those times that impress coaches, that get them into colleges, that allow people to be recruited by D1, D2, D3, whatever it is, and to go and run at the next level or to go pro whenever they get out of school. It's just kind of like if you allow your love for the sport to guide you through the sport, then that's where the results are going to come, where you're going to get recruited by colleges. And of course you have to work hard and you have to be willing to push yourself and you have to learn what that looks like. But I think in so many ways people get their priorities mixed up. It's like the goal shouldn't be to impress coaches. The goal should be to reach your potential and run the best that you can and be the best athlete you can be. And then a result of that is that maybe those results do impress coaches, but you can't have it can't be backwards. It has to just that's the way it should go. And so I think
So
that
good.
yeah, and I think that because I'm like a D2 guy or whatever, it's like yeah, like I think I can just speak to people kind of where they are because it's like I didn't really come from a whole lot. Like I was like a 16-minute 5K guy in high school, and it's like okay, now I'm here and I'm like I've gotten a little bit faster. It's like maybe I'm not a 13-minute 5K guy now, but
You're more relatable because of that, though, and I think
yeah,
that's why figures like you or Zach Levitt back in the day, people clung on to more.